What is this resilience, this persistency of this virus?
Well, yes, you're right. It's not really a wave because it never really went away. It's just come back again in greater numbers. So and it's very resilient because it's very, very infectious, and because any opportunity for it to be transferred from person to person, the virus will take it. And we are all around the world, people are giving it that opportunity by coming in relatively close contact and allowing it to spread from person to person, and that's what's happening.
Right. Dr. Pitt, you are definitive in clinical microbiology, your work with parasites across all of these bugs, if you will. You know the #1 issue is pneumonia. You get the secondary infection. What have we learned from February and March about the overlay of this virus with pneumonia, and particularly as we go into the winter season?
Well, actually, in fact, what we've seen in this virus, it's not actually secondary pneumonia. It's caused by the inflammation reaction of the body, which is causing the damage in the lungs. So it's not the same as with influenza, where you're right, with influenza, the main problem is actually a bacteria will come in, and while your immune system is trying to cope with the influenza infection and is in all over the shop because of the influenza infection, a bacteria will come in and cause you secondary pneumonia, and that's what is the major cause of mortality in influenza. That's not the same with this one.
But Professor, good morning. What do we understand about why certain people get it really badly, and in other people it's barely more than a cold?
Well, I mean, there are lots of factors involved in it, and we don't really know the answer to it. And it's one of those things, we probably won't know the answer to this until we can sit down and reflect on all the information that's coming in. Day after day, there's new information coming in, new papers being new epidemiological data, and actually we're just kind of reacting to it. And in 18 months' time or something, when it's kind of died down, we'll be able to really reflect on the information that's coming through, and then we might have a better idea. At the moment, we're at the stage where we're saying, observing that these things are happening and trying to do something about them, rather than really having detailed scientific explanations of why they're happening.
Yeah. But Professor, for me it's crucial because it seems that we were warned at the start of the pandemic that people will have lockdown fatigue, that actually they won't take all the guidance and what the government is saying seriously after a long period of time. So how do you get people back on track?
I think you have to really explain to them that anyone can catch it, anyone can spread it, even if people don't have serious illness themselves, they can still pass it on to other people. It's very, very infectious. And you don't actually know who is going to end up with serious illness. It is true that most of the people that have died have either had underlying conditions and or been slightly older. However, young people are dying, and the thing which is coming out now, again, from all over the world, is this idea of the sort of post-viral syndrome that can go on for months and months and months, which they're calling long COVID certainly here in the UK, we're calling it long COVID. Maybe 10% of people end up with some side effects which they can't actually, which haven't gone away yet. They might go away in time, but it's too early to say how long those might take to resolve. I
mean, what's the difference here, folks? We're not talking a bunch of fancy theory. We're talking Sarah Pitt in the trenches of clinical biology, clinical microbiology. Is it an equivalency to mononucleosis?
No. No, I'm not sure.
COVID?
No, because mononucleosis... Possibly. It's more likely, it's much more like post-viral fatigue syndrome, sort of ME, and those type of ones. But sometimes people their organs have been infected. But the main thing that people are saying they experience, apart from actually there are several different types of things that people are experiencing. But there's the lethargy, there's the difficulty in breathing, which you don't really get with ME. With EBV. Mononucleosis. Sorry. You do go on feeling, out of sorts for quite a long time with EBV infection, but it doesn't affect it. It's not affecting all of your organs and all of your body in the way that some people with long COVID are experiencing. Not all of them.
Right, Sarah, I got one final question, and this is with immense respect for the trenches of clinical microbiology. Long ago and far away, I actually put a gram stain on the ceiling, blowing it up, and they said, no, this is not for you. What has humbled you in this pandemic? What is the thing? You're world-class in parasites and all the things we're afraid about. What's the one thing with this virus that scared you?
Scared me. Mainly it's the way people have reacted to it, and the fact that some people are just not taking it seriously and are trying to say that it's not real, or they're not actually facing up to the reality of it, which is giving the virus more chance to spread from person to person. Yeah. I do think that it's something we can get under control, because its very close brother, SARS-1, went away. By the middle of 2004, there was no SARS-1, and it went away altogether. So I do believe, everybody tells me, particularly my husband, that I'm being very optimistic and idealistic, but I do believe that we can actually get rid of this. But we will have to work together to make it happen.
You got to go. We don't allow optimism on this show. Sarah Pitt, thank you so much, from the University of Brighton.